Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. The Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp legal battle has been one of the most sensational stories in recent Hollywood history, filled with shocking allegations, counterclaims, and courtroom drama. Yet, just as the dust seemed to settle, three of Hollywood's most high-profile figures, Elon Musk, Jason Momoa, and Johnny Depp himself, have broken their silence, offering revelations that could completely alter the public's perception of the saga. But one question remains. Was Amber's sudden move to Madrid an innocent retreat, or a calculated escape from mounting pressure? Let's dive into the ongoing saga that continues to captivate the world, where the past, present, and future of Amber Heard collide in unexpected ways. It all began in 2009, on the set of The Rum Diary, when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard first crossed paths. What began as a professional relationship quickly turned personal, sparking a connection that would evolve into one of Hollywood's most talked-about unions. At the time, Depp was still in a long-term relationship with French actress and singer Vanessa Paradis, with whom he shared 2 children. But by 2012, Depp and Paradis announced their split, and soon after, Amber became a fixture in Johnny's life. Their romance quickly took off, and in 2014, they announced their engagement. A year later, they tied the knot in a private ceremony on Depp's private island in the Bahamas, a fairy tale setting that made headlines around the world. From the outside, it seemed like a whirlwind romance between 2 of Hollywood's brightest stars. However, as time would reveal, their marriage was anything but a fairy tale. In fact, it became a saga of public legal battles, courtroom confrontations, and deeply personal accusations that shook the entertainment industry. As we look back on their relationship, the cracks that began to show in their union would soon lead to an explosive legal drama that the world would watch unfold. While their marriage was marked by public declarations of love, it wasn't long before tensions began to rise. In 2015, Amber and Johnny became embroiled in a controversy involving their pet dogs, Pistol and Boo, being brought illegally into Australia. Australia has some of the strictest biosecurity laws in the world, designed to protect its ecosystem from invasive pests and diseases. The couple was caught in a media frenzy after they failed to declare the animals when entering the country. This minor legal issue quickly spiraled into a global news story, serving as a warning sign of the growing volatility in their relationship. By 2016, Amber filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. She also obtained a restraining order against Johnny, alleging that he had been physically abusive during their marriage, particularly when under the influence of alcohol and drugs. The media coverage of these claims was intense, with Amber painting Johnny as a violent and unstable figure. Johnny, on the other hand, vehemently denied the accusations, claiming that their relationship was tumultuous, but without any intent to harm. He described their union as passionate, sometimes volatile, but never abusive. Despite Johnny's public denial, the allegations had a significant impact on his career. Hollywood was watching, and soon, Depp began losing roles in major franchises. The Pirates of the Caribbean series, in which he played the iconic Captain Jack Sparrow, was at risk of losing its star. The Fantastic Beasts franchise also became embroiled in the controversy, as Depp was asked to step down from his role as Grindelwald amid growing backlash. As the years passed, the legal battles continued. In 2018, Amber published an op-ed in The Washington Post, where she described herself as a survivor of domestic violence without naming Johnny directly. This sparked another round of public and legal confrontation. Johnny filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber, arguing that her words were damaging to his career and reputation. Amber in turn countersued, claiming that Johnny's legal team had disparaged her character and credibility. However, the stakes were raised even higher when, in 2020, Johnny lost a defamation case against The Sun, a British tabloid, which had labeled him a wife-beater. The court ruled that the tabloid's claim was substantially true, and this ruling further harmed Johnny's public image. As if that wasn't enough, the 2022 defamation trial in Virginia brought everything to a boiling point. For weeks, the world watched as the 2 sides presented shocking testimony, audio recordings, and evidence, each trying to paint the other as the villain in their tumultuous relationship. Johnny's legal team worked tirelessly to portray Amber as the primary aggressor, revealing recordings of Amber admitting to hitting Johnny and manipulating the truth. Amber's team, on the other hand, focused on portraying Johnny as a violent and abusive husband, using his struggles with substance abuse as evidence of his unstable behavior. The courtroom was filled with emotional testimony, including from security guards, former employees, and even past romantic partners who had witnessed or been affected by the couple's volatile relationship. In a stunning twist, Johnny emerged victorious, winning the defamation case and securing a substantial financial award. This moment was seen by many as a form of public vindication for Johnny, and yet, despite the win, the damage to both parties' reputations remained profound. While Amber and Johnny were the central players in this drama, two other figures closely tied to Amber's story have recently started to speak out: Elon Musk and Jason Momoa. After her divorce from Johnny, Amber entered into a high-profile relationship with tech billionaire Elon Musk. Their romance was highly publicized, with media outlets tracking their every move. Despite their on-again, off-again relationship, which eventually ended in 2018, Elon has remained relatively silent about his time with Amber. However, in his 2023 biography by Walter Isaacson, Elon opened up about his emotional experience with Amber. In an unexpectedly vulnerable admission, Elon revealed the emotional toll the relationship took on him, describing it as brutal and noting the lasting impact it had on his mental well-being. While Elon is known for his stoic and often guarded demeanor, his statements about Amber shed new light on their relationship, revealing a side of him rarely seen by the public. He admitted that the romance was tumultuous and had caused him a great deal of emotional pain, making it one of the most difficult periods of his life. Elon's comments have sparked renewed interest in Amber's relationships, as they offer insight into her influence on the people close to her. The revelation of the emotional impact on one of the world's wealthiest men adds a layer of complexity to the public narrative surrounding Amber, painting her not just as a controversial figure, but as someone whose personal relationships may have left deep emotional scars. In addition to Elon, Jason Momoa, Amber's co-star in Aquaman, has been linked to her in the media, particularly due to their close on-screen chemistry as Aquaman and Mera. While their professional rapport seemed effortless, rumors began circulating about tensions behind the scenes. Amber's legal battles with Johnny Depp had begun to affect the film's public reception, and some insiders suggested that Jason may have been put in an awkward position as the film's success and his co-star's personal challenges intersected. Jason, known for his easygoing nature and playful demeanor, largely remained tight-lipped about the controversies surrounding Amber. In interviews, he focused on their work together on set, highlighting the positive aspects of their collaboration. Yet, the public couldn't help but notice the subtle signals he was sending. In 2022, when Amber was embroiled in her defamation trial against Johnny, Jason followed Johnny Depp on Instagram, sparking speculation that he might be offering silent support to his former co-star. The timing of this action led many to believe that Jason's support for Amber might be more limited than it appeared. Despite the whispers, Jason remained loyal to Amber professionally, reportedly advocating for her to retain her role as Mera in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, even as the film's production was under scrutiny. Warner Brothers executives had considered reducing Amber's screen time due to the negative publicity surrounding her legal troubles. Jason's vocal support for her professional involvement in the film, however, led to even more public curiosity. Was he just doing his job, or was there a deeper loyalty to Amber, despite the personal tensions surrounding her public image? And now, with Amber Heard having relocated to Madrid, many wonder, is her move simply an escape to a quieter life, or is there more at play? What exactly is her relationship with these three influential figures, and why have they decided to speak out now, years after the drama first began? The answers may hold the key to understanding Amber's place in Hollywood moving forward, and what this saga says about fame, public perception, and the intersection of personal and professional lives in a world that's always watching. Amber Heard's life has undergone a seismic transformation since the conclusion of her highly publicized defamation trial against Johnny Depp in 2022. Once entrenched in a media frenzy, Amber is now striving to rebuild her life far from the spotlight. The trial, which saw Johnny Depp awarded significant damages after the court ruled largely in his favor, was a turning point. Following the trial's conclusion, Amber faced not only immense public scrutiny, but also a complete breakdown of many of her professional relationships within the industry. After the verdict, she described feeling betrayed by the justice system, a sentiment that only deepened as the Hollywood community seemed to distance itself from her. The emotional toll of the trial left her feeling like an outcast in a town that had once embraced her. By mid-2022, Amber made the bold decision to sell her home in California. She was ready for a fresh start, one that would take her far from the media circus and the stifling pressures of her former life in the United States. Initially, she sought refuge in the Spanish island of Majorca, where she lived under the pseudonym Martha Jane Canary, a reference to the legendary American sharpshooter Calamity Jane. It was a symbolic nod to the idea of reinvention, of seeking a quieter life away from the past. But the anonymity she longed for would soon become complicated. Her new life in Madrid seemed to be a true escape. Reports confirmed that Amber had found some peace and stability, a luxury she hadn't known for years. Residing in Madrid allowed her to focus on her daughter, Una, and embrace a slower, family-centered lifestyle. Sources close to the actress have said that Amber enjoys the freedom to live without the constant press of Hollywood's expectations. For the first time, she could walk in local parks and enjoy simple routines, like any other person. The Spanish media, recognizing Amber's fluency in Spanish, began to report her occasional public outings, where she often conveyed how much she loved her new life in Spain. In interviews, Amber has stated that she hopes to remain in the country long-term, as it gives her the ability to live without the intense media scrutiny that had followed her for years. Despite the tranquility she's found in Spain, Amber's decision to relocate has sparked renewed curiosity. The public seems fixated on whether this escape was truly about finding peace, or, as many suspect, a calculated retreat to avoid the consequences of her actions. Some have speculated that her move was a direct response to the fallout from the trial, with many wondering if she sought refuge abroad as a way of dodging the inevitable collapse of her career in the United States. The shift in Amber's physical location has had significant psychological and professional consequences. While some thought Amber's departure was a genuine desire for privacy, the truth seemed more complex when key figures from her past began to speak out. Most notably, Elon Musk, who dated Amber after her split from Johnny Depp, broke his silence and publicly acknowledged the emotional difficulties he had experienced in their relationship. Musk has long been cryptic about his relationship with Amber, but in his biography, he revealed just how difficult their time together had been. Describing their relationship as brutal, Musk candidly shared the emotional toll it took on him, hinting at a side of Amber he hadn't fully understood when they were together. His remarks raised eyebrows, particularly because Musk has often been viewed as one of the more high-profile supporters of Amber after her public split from Depp. The connection between Musk's revelations and Amber's post-trial life is significant. Musk's candid statements came during a period when Amber was already feeling the weight of her past actions. It was clear from his remarks that their relationship had deeply impacted both of them, and Musk even alluded to the idea that Amber might have been attempting to escape her past, not just in Hollywood, but in her personal life as well. His decision to speak out, particularly in a biography with widespread attention, seemed to serve as an indirect endorsement of Johnny Depp's side of the story, given Musk's own experience with Amber. Another key figure, Jason Momoa, who worked with Amber on Aquaman, also spoke out publicly about his interactions with her. Fans had long speculated about his support for Johnny Depp during Amber's defamation trial, especially after he subtly followed Depp on Instagram during the trial's height. Jason's eventual statements clarified much of the ambiguity surrounding his feelings about Amber. During the filming of Aquaman, Jason had witnessed behaviors that he hadn't known about before, which caused him to distance himself from her in the aftermath. His admission that he was misled by appearances, combined with his eventual support for Johnny, further tilted public opinion against Amber. These revelations from figures once close to Amber have undoubtedly reshaped the public's perception of her. It's clear that her relationships with Musk, Depp, and Momoa, once seen as supporting her, now carry heavy undertones of disappointment and disillusionment. These statements, coupled with the intense scrutiny Amber faced following the trial, have placed her in an untenable position where the public's sympathy has shifted dramatically. Reports from sources close to Amber now indicate that despite her initial excitement about starting over in Spain, the public revelations have deeply affected her. Word is that she has been seen in Madrid, once a place of refuge, increasingly withdrawing from the public eye. What was once her sanctuary now feels compromised. Amber, who had envisioned her life in Europe as a fresh start, is said to be overwhelmed by the weight of the statements made by her former allies. Friends claim that the actress, who was once enthusiastic about her quieter life, now finds herself reconsidering her decision to stay in Spain, grappling with the realization that even here, she is not immune from the scrutiny that once plagued her in Hollywood. In fact, sources report that Amber has become increasingly reclusive, avoiding public outings and even shying away from her usual routines. This behavior has led to rumors that she may be contemplating another move, one even more secluded than Madrid. Some suggest that Amber is now searching for a location far away from both media attention and any remaining Hollywood connections that might keep her tethered to her past. Given how vulnerable she reportedly feels in Spain, there's growing speculation that Amber may seek a more isolated refuge, where she can live entirely outside the reach of public opinion. while her friends insist that Amber remains focused on building a stable future for Una. It's clear that the emotional toll of the past few years has taken a considerable weight on her. What was supposed to be a chance at starting over has turned into a daily struggle with her public image, amplified by the recent revelations from those who once stood by her. It seems Amber is now faced with an impossible choice: continue to retreat from the public eye, or attempt to reclaim her place within Hollywood, despite the significant damage to her reputation. At this point, Amber's future remains uncertain. Her decision to step away from Hollywood, though seemingly an act of self-preservation, has sparked new questions about her future in the entertainment industry. With a diminished role in Aquaman 2 and no upcoming projects listed on her IMDb profile, her career seems to be at a crossroads. Despite her efforts to maintain a quiet, family-focused life, the past continues to haunt her. Fans, critics, and Hollywood insiders alike are left wondering if Amber will eventually return to the industry, and if she does, in what capacity. Moreover, the significant shift in public opinion following the revelations by Elon Musk, Johnny Depp, and Jason Momoa makes it increasingly difficult for Amber to rebuild her image. While some believe she may be able to find a path to redemption, others argue that the damage has already been done. Given the nature of her departure from Hollywood and the powerful statements made by those closest to her, it seems unlikely that she will ever fully escape the shadow of her past. Whether she chooses to attempt a career comeback or remains out of the public eye entirely, Amber's next move will undoubtedly shape her legacy. So, what do you think? Will Amber attempt to rise from the ashes of her previous life, or is she destined to remain a pariah in Hollywood and beyond? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.